All right. Well, welcome to Group Insight for the Soul, where we come together in a group environment. We share energy, we share insight, we uplift, we empower, we heal, we have a lot of fun. And basically, how this rolls is we bring on a couple willing souls who will either ask a question or bring a situation, or if they're like, no, I just want to see what God has for me, we have some amazing cards that we can pull and just see what God wants to tell the person. And then Bridget and I will tap in, we'll give some insight, and we'll just have a lot of fun. And one of the things we love about doing this group work is because of the ripple effect, because of the impact that the group environment creates, right? So we will do a reading for D, and it will affect Elena. And as Bridget is giving insight, I get new insight or download. And as you guys watch, you get to absorb the energy as well. So don't sit just as a passive participant. If you are watching this, ask, like, how does this relate to me? Or if there's something that you see that you love, say, I'll have some of that, right? That's how energy works. I'll have some of that. And what's really cool about the unseen energy is it multiplies when we give and receive. So say Elena receives something tonight and somebody on the other end is like, man, I'll have some of that. Well, that actually ignites what Elena received, and then she gets more and you get more. I know, right? It's so good. So if you're new here, I am Lori, and I am a consciousness coach, reality creation teacher. I love to play in energy and insight and allow Holy Spirit to just move through me as me. And here is my partner in crime, Bridget. I'll let her introduce herself, and then we'll just jump in and get started.
Awesome. Yes, I am Bridget Muratore. I am a energy bodywork specialist, and I love digging deep and it being a safe space for other men and women to tap into their knowing, their innate special creation that they are. And yeah, super excited. So let's get started.
Yeah. Go ahead and let me know who you want to start with tonight.
I hear it. Elena, would you like to kick us off? Is there a question or a situation that you'd like some insight on? What's going on?
Yes. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for having me. This is like so exciting. When Lori's like, "Do you want to join?" I was like, "Yes, I do." And also the generator in me, if anybody knows human design, 4-1 generator, it was definitely my gut was right away a yes. So that felt really good. So woohoo.
Woohoo!
So yeah, I kind of am tapping in a little bit of like grandma energy. Today would have been one of my grandma's 112th birthday, Grandma Sylvia. And she played a big kind of role, like all the grandmothers. I have one who's turning 99 in a couple weeks. But there's just been a lot kind of going on, emotionally, physically in general. And so just kind of wondering if grandma energy, what's kind of going on, if there's a special message or, I have a few things I could ask, but in general, I'm just kind of wondering if there's a message from the grandmas for me.
Cool.
Cool.
Bridget, let me know if you want to start. It feels like you want to start.
I love her moving energy. Like I feel like
It's Lori and I talk about this a lot, but there's no coincidences. And as Lori was describing how energy works, something that pings inside of me and comes out of my mouth can affect you. It can affect somebody watching. It can affect each one of us. And so it's no surprise to me. I have a deck of Louise Hay positive affirmations. And the card that I pulled today is I see my parents as tiny children who need love. And the positive affirmation is I have compassion for my parents' childhoods. I now know that I chose them because they were perfect for what I had to learn. I forgive them and set them free, and I set myself free.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, you asked grandma
Yeah.
energy.
Hmm.
It's all a lineage,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
It is
100%.
all super connected. The path that they each carved was
Hmm.
specifically meant for you.
And I feel that. And so that energy, I mean, I was called grandma growing up, so kind of my nickname.
Yeah.
Oof, wow. Thank you for that. It really resonates. Thanks, grandma.
So one of the things that depending on your like where anybody, now I'm not speaking specifically to Elena because I'm going to speak to her specifically in a minute, but in general, like where we come from, I came from a place that I was told you can't talk to spirits when people are dead, they're like gone. Like talking to them is demonic, it's wrong. People who talk to people who don't have bodies anymore are demonic and wrong. And through my experience with God, I don't believe that anymore. And I've had too many experiences where unprovoked uh conversations. So I didn't go seeking somebody who didn't have a body anymore. They came to me and said, "Hey, go tell this person that thing." And I'm like, "Wow, what are you talking about?" Right. So I don't always understand all of the things and why we believe what we believe and how our beliefs evolve. Um, but I do know that once somebody doesn't have a body, they just don't have a body, but they're not gone. They just don't have a body anymore. And one of the biggest things that came up is like your lineage. And I love that Bridget said, like, it's a lineage. Your lineage is surrounding you. It's like
Mhm.
sometimes people lose somebody and they like go do their own thing. And then sometimes they come back and visit. But yours, as soon as they don't have a body, they surround you. And then the next one doesn't have a body and they surround you and they stay around you. So you really could tap into anyone in your lineage and ask questions. Sometimes we don't always know how to do that. And so, like, there's different gifts, right? I can ask a question and like get an answer. Like, I hear an answer, I hear words. Um, some people ask for a sign like show me that you're around me, and then all of a sudden a butterfly lands on your shoulder, right? It's the communication that they're there. And if you purpose to recognize this isn't weird or odd or strange or unique that I can talk to people without bodies, you'll actually be able to talk to them deeper and clearer. Now, whether that's through words or through symbols, or you pull a card and it's the words, or you open up the Bible and you look at a passage, like, it doesn't really matter where you find it, but the more that you allow yourself to go, this is the person that I need the wisdom from, right? Because ultimately everything is filtered through God, but God has different personalities, just like God has a million different, well, not a million, okay, a bunch of different names. Um, it's because he shows up how we need to see God in any given moment, right? And so the more you're like, I can hear messages, I can hear people who don't have bodies talk to me, or not hear, but communicate. I can get the message. The easier, the quicker, the smoother you'll get those messages, and it will flow. And then it will be just like a even if it's not an audible conversation or a non-audible but word conversation in your mind, you're still conversating, right? So don't feel like just because it was only a butterfly on your shoulder. It's, oh my gosh, it's a butterfly on my shoulder. And that's the sign that I can ask for more. Don't be afraid to keep asking for more. You are very, very intuitively inclined. I think you just don't think you are as much as you are. I know that you own some of it, but like on a scale of 1 to 10, you might own like 10% of what you have access to. Okay.
That is so good. I love your insight and then how you show up, and exactly like you can always communicate through that. Yesterday, I was at a little like tea party or tea thing, and there was a bunch of butterflies, and I was asking, I said, Grandma, I want to say hi to you today. Like, if you're around, come here. And she did. She like came in front of me. We sat, I got to talk to her, and it was like a very beautiful thing. And I love that you say that no matter what, even though they're not in a body, you can talk to them anyway, or like communicating through the TV, like there's an app and you can ask, questions through the music and getting signs of, things I've communicated like that. And I just love how you make people feel comfortable to show up that way, because a lot of times I was always grown up like, they were very open with that. We talked about crystals and, energy and whatnot, but I think allowing someone to have that space and both of you opening up for that is a safe space and making people vulnerable enough to see that. So thank you for that.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
And I think so specifically from your grandma, she's just saying like, yeah, like I'm always here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't come and go. I'm always here. And you can just trust that I'll answer the question, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, oh, I hope she answers me. Like, go into the question expecting the answer because she wants to give it to you
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest thing is there's nothing specific she wants to tell you except for that you're capable of getting more than you're allowing yourself to get, right? And again, that's just the growth. Like, welcome to being in a human body still, right? We still have our bodies. So we're a little bit more finite than they are without their bodies. So,
But I feel like I agree, like trusting my intuition more and just showing up. And I feel like keeps coming up when, that. And I think that's been my biggest block is like, I know the answer, then not trusting myself, then it's more, getting upset with myself like, what, knowing it and what you said, trusting. I'm more intuitive than I actually realize. Or, people say, how do you know? I just know.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Because we know.
You just know.
That's why it's the what's available, right?
Yes.
Like, if there's 100% available, you're utilizing 10%. As soon as you get to that 100%, guess what? More will open, right? But it's like, we know that there's more available because we can feel that there's more available.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be more available.
100%.
Yeah.
I think it's just trusting ourselves and rewriting like that story message, or having like that card was ideal because, my dad is like my best friend. I love my mom, but sometimes they say too in my marriage that I married my mom to heal myself. And I was like, you marry your dad. There are so many things. So that's another lesson that I've been showing up as if something going on is I love my husband, but there's things that I was like, wow, like okay, thank you for the lesson. And, so I think showing up, but with that card, it was so true because I've, kind of healing myself with my mom and being like, and her mom was just a chick. So the mom whose birthday is today is she's the one who is like super intense and like lived in fear, kind of like, don't do this because she was so afraid of the failure and whatnot. So my mom, kind of had that harshness to her of, emotions. You can't share your emotions. And this girl
Mm.
definitely can wear her heart on her sleeve. So that card was ideal because I am healing that and having that grace of like releasing with my parents and having more grace with myself. Because in the long run, I would like to be a parent. And that's kind of what's going on too, is having that choice and releasing the pattern.
Love it. Appreciate you being here and being so open and vulnerable. And again, that heals everyone who ever watches this. So
Telling stories of, like we talked about earlier, is, I think if everybody can share story, if there's one person that it helps or shows up for, then I'm all about it. So
1000%.
love it.
Thank you.
All right, Dee.
All right. I like to pull a card.
1, 2, or 3?
3.
Okay. I'm just mixing them up down here, guys.
That one.
Yep. That's so awesome.
I was like, I got the hit.
That's your photo. And it says, look, guys, I'm so prepared. Got my glasses, got a flashlight. Pillar of light, your vibration is rising. You are the oracle.
Mm. What does that mean?
Well, we're going to find out.
Okay, good.
I feel like Bridget's supposed to start, so I'm just going to give her the space for whenever that
I can see
happens.
Yeah, I have a question, Dee. Do you really trust yourself?
Interesting. I mean, the answer is no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, truly, the answer is no.
Mm.
If you did truly trust yourself, what would you step into?
Mm.
And your
Yeah.
work life is what came up for
Yep.
me. Like
Same.
you are there's something definitely holding back.
Yeah.
And it feels like a trust in your your trust in that this is what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Trust in that you are meant to walk in like the boss that you are,
Mm-hmm.
telling people this is what needs to happen here, and this is what needs to happen here, and this is what needs to, and not questioning even when they say, well, I kind of want to do it that way. Nope, this is what needs to happen here. Just like that hit popped you and you said, that one, that's my card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is the, every time you, like, if you didn't say that right then, it's like that feeling that you had inside you that then doesn't get
Acknowledged. Yeah.
acknowledged, right? And there's so many times that you won't say it when it comes to your work life
Yeah.
because all the stories that have, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is what you're being invited into, is to have that instinctual, that's my card, on the job site.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
That is so true. Because I just had, and I mean, I'm currently, having a situation where I'm totally disagreeing with what they want to do.
Mm.
And like based on my experience, I can see what the end, that's I struggle when visions are so clear to me of what to do and they question the vision and I just shut down. And I don't know how to be forceful without being a bitch or being a jerk or being like, well, you just have to do it and you just have to trust me. Um, ev- so I can't, like, I try to explain, I don't seem to have the words to convince people. And that's, when I am trying to convince people, I just end up giving up.
So I looked up Oracle just to see what it said. And
Mm-hmm.
it said a priest or priestess acting as a medium through whom advice or prophecy was sought from the gods in classical antiquity. So
Mm-hmm.
forget where it was because the card came up that you are an oracle's code. So it's not in the past, it's right now.
That's right now. Yeah.
And the idea of acting as a medium through whom advice or prophecy is sought. And
Mm-hmm.
you have that, but here's the fuckery of how our subconscious creates our reality and how we attract people that match our frequency, right? You said the words, I don't know how to convince
Mm-hmm.
people without being a bitch or forceful, or you said one other thing, but
Mm-hmm.
bitch, forceful, convince. All
Mm-hmm.
of those words. And again, Bridget asked you, do you trust yourself? No. Well, then,
Mm-mm.
and again, this is so like cliche, y'all,
Yeah.
so cliche. And guess what? Well, nobody else is going to trust you if you don't trust yourself.
Yeah. That's,
And the
yeah.
reason that you're a bitch is because you're trying to convince people when you
Mm-hmm.
aren't even convinced for yourself. And so now the energy is force energy. And that
Gotcha.
energy will always be portrayed or received as bitch. And
Got
so
it.
you're absolutely right. You can't convince them. You can't tell them without being a bitch
Mm-hmm.
because you're not doing it from this place of freedom. Because if you trusted yourself, you wouldn't need external validation of somebody else trusting you. But that's the cycle. I need validation, so I have to convince you that I'm right so that you validate me, so that I can feel good enough to say what I'm going to say, right? And yet it continues the cycle of I attract people who don't trust me because I don't trust myself, and then I'm trying to convince them that I'm trustworthy, and then I'm a bitch, and then it makes them go away and not trust you, right? That's how we create our reality, guys, right? So where does it start and where does it go? Like, here's your card. Like, let me go back. Hold on, I put it away, but I'm going to go back and read the exact words again. Pillar of light. Your
Mm-hmm.
vibration is rising. You are the oracle. And so the more you allow yourself, now again, remember, we're 100% human and 100% spirit. And if our human is the oracle, we're screwed. There's your ego, there's
Mm-hmm.
your need for validation. But if you recognize, hey, the wisdom that creates universe is inside of me because I carry the seed of God. That's actually my genius. That's actually what's right about me. That's what is the power and the oracleness of the wisdom. Like, and so now it's not even about you. You get to just keep reminding yourself, man, I've been given a gift. I've been given a gift, just like Bridget said. I've been given a gift. Now, who wants my gift? I've been given a gift. Who wants my gift? I've been given a gift. Who wants my gift? They're like, but if you're trying to convince people that you have a gift worth having, that's the downward spiral. So it always comes back to, oh, I've been given a gift. Who wants my gift? I've been given a gift. God, show me who wants my gift. God, thank you for giving me this gift that I don't even have to prove to anyone I have a gift. I just have to show up and see who wants it. Right. And I know I've said the same thing over and over again, but guys, that's how simple it is. I've been given a gift. Who wants it? there's no convincing. And
Mhm.
now there's not even room for being a bitch because you're like, oh, you don't want it? Okay, dope. Bye. See ya. Peace out.
Yeah.
I'll go find
Mhm.
somebody who wants it.
Yeah.
But you
Okay.
have to know you have it first.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's not about you. It's about who's in you.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because you are. I'm looking at your picture and like you just radiate light. You radiate creativity. You radiate it without even trying.
Mhm.
Anything else, Bridget?
Yeah, it um because you brought up a specific situation, it's almost like if you were even just to have that conversation, even though, and I'm going to use air quotes too, because
Mhm.
this is a business relationship. This isn't your girlfriend that you're dealing with. This is a client. And so you have to be an expert and have experience. But if you were simply to have a conversation with your client as if it were two girlfriends talking, and you said, I I don't know how to explain this with words,
Mhm.
but I really feel like from a source outside of me that this is what should, rather than trying to convince them. If you
Got it. Yeah.
just had a conversation as if you're talking to your girlfriend, and you even said it, I don't have the words, I don't have the words. So then say that. I don't have the words. This is really though what is coming up in me, and I'm just going to share it with you. And then if, like Lori said, if they're like, nope, I don't want to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love to, I feel like both Alana and Dee, there's a trust element through each of these conversations. And I love that because for me, I feel having conversations like this does strengthen that trust within myself. And so the more you can have conversations, it'll strengthen the trust within you so that, well, I know when a butterfly comes and you were just saying, "Hey, grandma, I want," you'll know. And D in the work situation, you like just having those conversations strengthens all of us. So thank you for coming on and saying yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to say one more thing based on what you just said, Bridget. Um, One, yes, showing up here, like you guys have shifted radically in your awareness, in your energy, in your vibration, like because that's just what happens when we come together in the presence of creation, right? It just that is the result. Um, and the other thing that when you were saying um doing like it builds your trust and there's a weaving of not trusting ourselves, guys, that's actually the indicator of growth. And it goes back to here's this 100% that's available, you're using 10%, right? Then we grow in our faith, we grow in our trust of ourselves. Well, the second that we hit alignment, guess what, a new gap is created, because the gap is actually what drives us for more. So the fact that you don't trust yourself isn't a bad thing. It's an awareness to go, okay, I'm gonna trust that I can trust myself, which then allows you to trust yourself more, right? So it is this forever unfolding and growing. And so I love that Bridget is like, yes, that is the theme that's being weaved through here. And just as a reminder, you guys, nothing's gone wrong, right? It's the indicator. If I'm in my physical body and I'm like, man, I am weak, what do? I go to the gym. Well, what do I do at the gym? I pick up a weight, and I pick up a 5 pound weight, and I do that a bunch of times. And then I go in and I'm like, oh, this is getting easy. I pick up a 10 pound weight and I get stronger and I stronger. But I would have never showed up to the gym had I not had the awareness that I was weak to begin with, right? And so recognizing that the lack of trust is just a thing to be aware of. And now going back to like what we said with D, oh, well, I already have it, right? There's the fact that I can feel like there's more there for me is the proof that you have it already. And now we have to step into it. And then we'll go, there's more available. Yep. Keep stepping into it. And once we get into that hamster wheel, right? Everyone's like, oh, get off the hamster wheel. But we're always on a hamster wheel because there's always momentum, right? We just want to be on the hamster wheel that is creating more trust, more love, more abundance, more faith, more yummy, more this, more whatever, as opposed to the hamster wheel that is the thing that makes us feel stuck, right? Yeah. Final words, Bridget. I'm done. I'm done talking, guys.
Yeah, I think that was awesome. I love it.
So good. Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. And as always, we'll have some links down in the description if you want to get a hold of Bridget or myself, if you have questions. If you want to come on one of these and have us give you some intuitive insight, please schedule. The link is in the description. And until then, go love somebody. Thanks.
Thank you.